Welcome everyone to Mail Fuzz News. I am Peter, that is Tara, and this is your Thursday edition of the show. And I love, if you pay attention to my eyes, you could probably see that little moment where I had to look up to think what day tomorrow was going to be, because that's just how this works. But we have some TV news, we have some movie news. I'm going to start with TV, just because, I don't know, it seems a little bit more notable, some headline things, I guess. Not a lot of headline stuff today, and I know that's not exciting way to start off the news show, to get you all pumped. Oh, there's nothing big and juicy like 20 Marvel movies coming out in the next 2 years to talk about. But there is a number of things, and some of them might be interesting. So Tara's ready and excited. I can see it in her eyes. Yeah, she's ready to go.
It's exciting. I'm here.
She's like, oh, let me at 'em. Let me at the news.
You know me and TV. Love it.
All right, I especially love the CW when you find out they're renewing things, because they have officially renewed Kung Fu for season 2, which
the David Carradine show.
No, it's the reboot of the show, which is a reboot of that show, but David Carradine, unfortunately, is not a part of it. If you are unfamiliar, he may have accidentally had a very unfortunate death, which I don't mean to laugh at someone's death, but David Carradine's death is a little. It's one that's made fun of, because it's.
Poor Frankenstein.
He accidentally choked himself while he was masturbating, and that's.
Has that been confirmed?
Did it ever need to be confirmed?
He still has a massive legacy.
That's a very elaborate, like, let's say you did commit murder and you wanted to make it look like a suicide. That's a very specific thing to like position them into to sell it.
No? I mean, he died doing what he loved.
Himself, yes. So yes, I mean, this is a bit of a running joke, because we've reviewed David Carradine movies on the ACE, particularly on the bonus episodes, so we're just kind of calling back to things. Obviously we love him, but you know,
and we love Death Race 2000, so
it's a very notable death that can't be escaped. So, well, Kung Fu's been renewed for season 2. That was half this news. The other half of this news is that Stargirl has been renewed for season 3, which is notable because season 2 isn't even premiering until August. So if you like season 1 of the show, that's good news to get the yellow renewal. You don't have to worry about it as you're watching it. So neat.
What's a Stargirl?
Stargirl's a DC Comics show, but a teenage hero who builds a team, and there's a lot of legacy involved. I actually did like season 1 more than I was expecting, because I'd kind of given up all the CW DC shows. This wasn't technically CW to begin with. This started in DC Universe, but obviously that's kind of just become a comic thing because HBO Max exists. So it just became a full CW show with season 2. So hopefully it's still good. I'm hoping that doesn't ruin it, but it might. So we'll see.
Well, I'm happy for the fans.
Yes.
It's my contribution.
Yes. Speaking of CW shows, 2 of the original Flash cast are finally leaving after season 7. Tom Cavanagh and Carlos Valdez are both leaving, and they've been there since the start of season 1, so that's kind of notable. I wouldn't be surprised if season 8, which has been renewed for, ends up being either last, or maybe they'll announce season 9 is going to be the last, because it's getting up there now. Like, that's up there in numbers.
Sure. I've only seen season 1 of that show, but I did like it. That was pretty good.
Unfortunately, it kind of is. It's kind of repeated a lot of the same ideas and not really advanced characters enough to make it even remotely recommendable. But
well, I hope those 2 are leaving by choice because they have better things ahead.
I'm sure the contracts ran out and they didn't want to continue. So,
well, then I my condolences.
It's their choice at that point if they didn't want to. So,
well, then I'm happy for them.
Yes.
It's been a real roller coaster.
Loki has been moved forward.
I saw that
on Disney Plus. I was hoping to make you excited and then crush your spirits by saying it's only 2 days.
I saw the little teaser.
Okay. All right. Well, it was meant to be June the 11th, but now it is June 9th. So, not really much of a big deal, but
Wednesdays and new Fridays.
Apparently so. So there you go. That's that. The Irregulars has been cancelled at Netflix. This was the Sherlock Holmes detective-y show they had recently. I never watched it.
Ooh, a Holmes spin-off.
Yes. Yeah. It was. I think it was like other characters teaming up with them or something like that. I don't know. I never watched it, but it's been cancelled. So if you liked it, sorry, it's gone.
Yeah, sorry. I know there's a lot of Sherlock Holmes fans out there. People who are in your neck of the world and my neck of the world who like to pretend to be British.
Yes, I suppose that's true.
The type that puts cheers at the end of their emails.
I mean, cheers is a normal thing to say in Scotland. I don't know if Sherlock Holmes is specifically got. I mean, I'm not saying there's not people in Scotland who like Sherlock Holmes. He's got fans everywhere, but
yeah,
I don't know if the national pride element of Sherlock Holmes is something that translates to Scotland. That may just be an English thing.
I see.
People in Scotland don't tend to like taking pride in anything that's English.
That's why you hate Shakespeare. Also, because you don't like reading.
I think reading's fine. Just because I don't have time to read lots of books does not mean I don't like reading. I don't like Shakespeare because I hate the dialogue. I hate it. I hate how it's written.
You don't like iambic pentameter?
No. Next up, Harold Perrineau from Lost, is what I know him from, is going to star in a horror series called From, which is a horrible title because it's like I have to specify it's called From. I can't just say we're talking about From now because it just sounds weird and wrong and like you don't know what I'm saying. So this is an Epix show. It is a sci-fi horror series created by John Griffin. And every time I do the news, I always forget that I prefer to put the news over on this side so I can read it better. Because it's really far away in small print right now, so I'm going to move it over here. I know, super interesting. So From unravels the mystery of a nightmarish town in middle America that traps all those who enter. As the unwilling residents fight to keep a sense of normalcy and search for a way out, they must also survive the threats of surrounding forest, including the terrifying creatures that come out when the sun goes down. There's a little bit of WandaVision in there, to be honest, in terms of premise. Not with the monsters per se, but
a little bit of Riddick or any kind of vampire thing. Sun goes down, monsters come out. Minecraft, little Minecraft.
Oh, the sun goes down parts. Okay, yeah. Wait, is that a Minecraft thing? I've never played Minecraft.
Yeah, monsters come out at night.
They come out at night, mostly. Mostly. So, yeah. I mean, I've only ever watched one pilot from Epix, and I was not a fan of it. So I'm not thrilled. And you should know what it is, because it was on the last news you were on. It was mentioned.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That was 2 days ago. I don't remember.
Pennyworth. Pennyworth was the
oh, that's
other
right.
one. Yeah. So I can't say I'm super hopeful for From.
It is a bad title.
It's a very bad title.
It has to be from something, right?
Yeah, you can have From as the first word.
The word from is not intimidating.
What are you clicking? You're clicking something.
No, I'm not.
There was a noise.
I'm not doing anything.
What's the other hand? I want both hands at the same time. Right. Now just keep
keep him here the whole.
Yeah, keep them up. Just keep them there for the whole duration of this show. And I bet that clicking I was hearing isn't going to be there anymore.
I'm not gonna live by your rules.
I'm thinking of the poor people listening to this show. They need a reasonable standard.
I'm doing you a favor. I'm here.
Of
okay.
audio quality.
Let's keep going.
Next up, Ken Jeong is going to star in a half-hour dramedy about his life failures. Oh, sorry, about life failures in general, not his specific life failures.
He's got his own show. That sounds all right.
A half-hour dramedy about life failures that is in the works at Amazon with Daniel Day Kim producing. It's called Shoot. What was that clicking? I heard. What were you playing with?
Nothing. My cat is eating kibble behind me. I think that's what you're hearing.
Okay, all right.
Golly, edit this out. You're just gonna look dumb now.
I'm keeping. I'm not editing this out. This news isn't that interesting. This is the narrative through line of this episode. So this is called Shoot the Moon. This show. It's a single camera project, and it is inspired by the life failures of Paul Bay, a former high school English teacher and stand-up comedian who created the Black Tapes podcast series. Bay was an evangelical youth pastor who married his college sweetheart after he lost his wife to divorce. That's a weird way of phrasing it. I lost my wife to divorce. I was going to say I lost my wife to cancer. I lost my wife to, some illness. No, to divorce. Divorce is a malevolent thing on its own that just came and got him. Or came and got her specifically.
Yeah. I mean, it's the death of a marriage.
One of his failures, one would say. After he lost his wife to divorce and Jesus to atheism. Okay, that part of the sentence is funny. He embarked on a stumbling, years-long journey with his friends and family back to wholeness. Okay, I mean, I can't say I'm excited for anything where Ken Jeong is the star, because his brand of humor, he was funny enough on Community. I like Community just fine.
Oh, he's the doctor, huh?
I mean, he's a star, so I presume, yeah. He's the main character. I don't know if he's going to be a doctor.
No, he was a doctor before he became an actor.
What? Ken Jeong?
Yeah.
I don't know. No? Maybe he was.
Is he the one from the Hangover movies?
I think he's in those, yeah. I don't know, I don't remember.
Okay.
This is just to be, I don't know. I thought you said doctor because I mentioned doctor in the plot. I'm like, no, I don't think I did.
Well, I mean, maybe because I think he was an actual doctor and then got into theater stuff as a side thing and then decided to be an actor.
Well, so you're saying he's like Tobias Funke, where he got the acting bug and said, I'm enough of this medical crap. I'm not doing this for my life. I'm going to go act.
Right, yeah.
I'm a thespian. I actually didn't know that. If that's a bit of trivia about Ken Jeong, I did not know that. So interesting. That's a lot like Dolph Lundgren has 2 PhDs.
Yeah, Dolph is amazing.
It's oh,
and engineering and stuff too, or something crazy.
Oh yeah, none of those easy PhDs. How many PhDs do you have, Tara?
None. I've done some cool things though.
That's what I thought. Okay, that's what I thought.
I would never claim to be smart.
I just imagine someone listening to this and be like, "Oh, engineering's impressive. My arts history PhD, that's not impressive, but engineering's impressive." I don't know if you can get a PhD in something like arts history, but I assume you can get a PhD in anything if you go for it.
Sure you can. Yeah.
Okay, next up. Writer Ada Osman, host of the Crooked Media podcast Keep It, rapper Chameleon.
Chameleonaire.
It just says
Isn't that Chameleonaire?
It just says Chameleon here, but maybe that's. I assume it's the same pair. I've had it hard to believe there's going to be both a chameleon and a chameleonaire both running around. I feel like they're probably both the same person.
Yeah, Chameleonaire did the one, the Weird Al parody of White and Nerdy, but the original song that was based on is a Chameleonaire song, I think.
Wait, how recent is this? Because the photos of all these ladies involved in this story don't look old. And I feel like
Chameleon's probably a different person.
Okay. Yes. This is a capital K, lowercase a, capital M. So Chameleon.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Well, what do you?
I don't think the same person then. Chameleonaire is a different person.
Is it
different rapper?
Spelled differently as well?
I'm honestly, I don't know.
Okay. Right. Oh, that's chameleons from Love and Hip Hop, Miami. I'm just going to assume that someone in the audience might have heard of this thing and will know what I'm talking about, because I don't. And comedian Jonica Booth from Bad Girls Club have been cast as the 3 leads of Rap Shit, which it says here's a working title, but they should totally keep this title. It is a HBO Max half-hour comedy series from Insecure co-creator Ray and her Hooray Productions. Oh, I love that.
Issa Rae.
I love what is it?
Yeah, Issa Rae does Insecure. It's a good show.
Sure. Well, it just says Ray here. I guess she just goes by Ray. As well. I don't know. I was just going to say that I love that she named her company Hooray.
It's a good name.
She took her name and thought, how can I do this into a pun? And she went, Hooray Productions. Hooray! So, written by Ray, the series pilot episode will be directed by Sadie Clacken Joseph, who has worked on Ponyboy Night and Finding Phoebe. I have heard of none of those things. So, yes, and Osmond also serves as producer. That was the first actor I mentioned. Rap Shit follows 2 estranged high school friends from Miami, Shauna and Mia, who reunite to form a rap group. So yes, this chameleon is playing an estranged high school friend.
Yeah.
So, probably younger than the person you were thinking of, is my guess.
Definitely.
But they form a rap group. That's the thing. So there you go. That's it. No thoughts? Okay.
I mean, I like Issa Rae. I like Insecure and I like her a lot, but I
haven't seen Insecure, or I'm familiar with Issa Rae. Really, I've seen her name a couple of times pop up in things, but I've never.
You've seen her in like trailers. She did a movie with I think Kumail Nanjiani came out last year.
Oh.
They were like a couple, and they had a horrible date night. Like things kept going wrong. I didn't see it. I only saw the trailer.
Okay. All right. Okay. Last up on the TV side of things. Oh, this is just mentioned Insecure again. So that's heading into its 5th and final season. The showrunner and executive producer, Prentice Penny, has got his next project also at HBO in development. They're making a single camera half-hour comedy with him from his A Penny for Your Thoughts Entertainment. Again, that's a good use of his name into his company name. Look at that.
Well done.
That's good, yeah. And Janine Neighbours is also involved in developing this. She worked on Atlanta. So, written by Penny and Neighbours, the untitled Prentice Penny and Janine Neighbours project, that just rolls off the tongue. A convicted felon, TR, the Brick Johnson, who once was one of America's most beloved athletes, grovels at the feet of America and charms his way back into her hearts. So, not a lot to go on, but they're saying it's a comedy. So, it's a comedy about someone sort of reintegrating into society and someone who was successful at one point, but obviously.
Sounds like a classier version of Eastbound and Down.
Is that what that's about? I never watched Eastbound and Down.
It's very funny.
I mean, I like Righteous Gemstones, so I'm willing to accept the possibility that it is funny, but...
Yeah, it's quite good.
Okay. All right. So, next up, we'll move on to the movie stuff. Reminiscence, which is a science fiction film that we will definitely be looking at when it comes out, from Lisa Joy, co-creator and showrunner of Westworld. So, it's moving forward a week because they don't want to go up against Shang-Chi, basically. They're getting out of the way of the Marvel movie.
Probably a good idea.
So this is going to be in theaters and on HBO Max. Yes. So, yeah. So it was also up against previously Candyman and a documentary about the Beatles. So it's moving out of the way of that.
Is Candyman still coming out?
It's coming out later this year, yeah. It's
All
happening.
right.
It's eventually going to happen.
I've been waiting for Candyman. I mean, not like literally.
Yeah.
Just be careful what I say.
Candyman. Candyman. I need a mirror.
Don't do it.
Next up, Hilary Swank has joined a film here. She's going to play Jeanette Girthy, a pilot turned race car driver who smashed barriers to become the first woman to qualify for the Indianapolis 500 and Daytona 500. So she is there a name for this movie? Oh yeah, Speed Girl. Speed Girl is the name of the movie. That's a really lazy title. We're going to tell us about one of the first ever women like race car drivers. What are we going to call it? Speed Girl. All right.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Put it on a poster. All right, Jim.
Yeah, I don't really care about the story. Like, yay, girl power, and if they do a good job, maybe I'll watch it. But I'm not interested in cars that go fast and vroom vroom.
Okay. Well, there you go. That's Speed Girl. Next up, we have Ben Mendelsohn has joining Daisy Ridley in an upcoming psychological thriller called The Marsh King's Daughter. Mendelsohn's going to play Jacob Holbrook, the infamous Marsh King, who years ago kept his young daughter Helena and her mother captive in the wilderness for years. After a lifetime of trying to escape her past, the now grown Helena, played by Ridley, is forced to face her demons when her father unexpectedly returns.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I like both those actors.
Yeah, it's funny. They're both. They were both in Star Wars movies recently. She was in 3 of them, admittedly, but he was in Rogue One. So it's an interesting merging of this. Is coming from the director of Limitless, Neil Burger.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, not the most exciting name.
I heard people, liked it, like Limitless. I didn't see it. I didn't like the trailer.
Yeah, I didn't like the trailer either. I did hear that there was some amount of a fan base around it, and it did get a TV show, which people seem to kind of like. I think we did the pilot. I want to say we reviewed the pilot, and it was just kind of it's okay, I guess. But it wasn't anything super captivating. The premise to me just always seemed really stupid. It was, this pill unlocks all the power of your brain. Like, shut up. Shut up. Like, you can do that in a silly B movie. Don't do a serious sort of sci-fi thriller and claim that that's happening. Like, I'm not going to take you seriously. But I haven't seen it, so I don't have an opinion on the director's skills. But yeah, so is this based on a? No, I think just because of the way it described the plot, I kind of felt like it was based on a true story, but I don't think it is. I think it's just it's the way it said he plays the infamous Marsh King, and I thought, is this like a real?
That was like, okay, is that like a nickname for someone who lives in a bog?
Yeah, it's an adaptation of a book, Karen Dion's book, but it's not. Yeah, it's not based on a true story. So there you go. So that is The Marsh King's Daughter. Which I will say that is actually an okay title, because you could just call it The Marsh King, and that would actually be an okay title because it sounds fairly unique, but saying The Marsh King's Daughter is like almost like a sequence of like, oh, what is a Marsh King, and what does it mean to be his daughter? Why is that important? It's an interesting sounding title, as opposed to Speed Girl. And it's not to say you can't have a simple title. Like, sometimes it can be so in your face and stupid that it's funny. Like, Snakes on a Plane almost became like a cult hit before it even came out. The movie's not even as good as the title makes you think it is, because...
Sure. Well, the trailer was incredible.
Good trailer. Not a great movie. Didn't live up to its B-movie potential, but it is what it is. Next up, Samuel Golden Films has acquired the US rights to Night Raiders, a dystopian sci-fi feature.
All right.
So this is one for us on Ace.
Dystopian.
Produced, not directed or starring, but produced by Taika Waititi. So doesn't mean
That's
much.
That's a name I like.
Doesn't mean much, but it is a connection. So this is a debut feature of writer-director Danis Goulet. I'm probably butchering that name. It's set in 2043, exploring a future in which a military occupation controls disenfranchised cities in a post-war North America. In this world, where children are considered property of the regime which trains them to fight, a desperate Cree woman joins an underground band of vigilantes that infiltrates a state children's academy so that she can get her daughter back. A parable about experience of the indigenous peoples of North America, Night Raiders is billed as a female-driven sci-fi drama about resilience, courage, and love.
Hell yes, sign me up. I'm into it.
What gets me about that is that I'm seeing a lot of Handmaid's Tale in some of this, particularly about having to like try and save her daughter because the daughter's taken away from her and all that. But yeah,
and parallel to an allegory for indigenous people in North America. Hell yeah. Let us face our sins of the past.
Well, I mean, science fiction is usually at its best when it's actually got something to say about a serious issue, and if that's, if it can pull this off, then it could be special. And I do wonder what the design of this. It's always exciting to see. Okay, what is their design of 2043 look like? What do these cities look and feel like? If it looks like every other low budget indie movie, then I'll be disappointed.
Please, no nanite technology.
Please no nanites.
And no screens where you just go woo woo in the air. I'm done with those. Give me buttons and clicky things and switches.
Tactile.
Yes.
You want tactile buttons.
Lots of things on fire in the background. Smoke and mist for whatever reason. That's what I want.
Okay.
Lasers.
Okay. Oh, I'd love some lasers. You're going to ask me twice. So, Tom Cruise survivor Katie Holmes has completed shooting her second film as a director. What are you looking at?
My dog. She's
all right. I thought it was in reference to something I said.
No.
So it's untitled, but it's a romance film. She just finished shooting in Connecticut. But this is the first time apparently we're hearing about it. As far as according to Deadline, this is the first time we're hearing that. Apparently, this was super secretive. No one knew she was directing a movie, but it's a second movie. She's done this before. It stars herself alongside Jim Sturgis, Derek Luke, Melissa Leo, Zosia Mame, Luke Kirby, and Becky Ann Baker. Did I say Baker?
I don't think I know any of those names.
Becky Ann Baker is what I said. No, Becky Ann. Becky Ann Baker is the name.
Becky Ann Baker. Got it.
Becky and Baker. Yeah, just think of it as two people. I'm just saying Becky and Baker. Yes, Becky and Baker.
Okay.
So in the film, two strangers embroiled in bad relationships wind up in the same upstate New York Airbnb. They're forced to confront quarantine and their disdain for one another in this unexpected and unlikely love story. Holmes wrote and produced alongside. So this is Katie Holmes' The Room. She wrote, directed, and starred in it.
She's starring in it too?
Yeah, and it's set during quarantine apparently. So.
Oh boy.
This is.
Well, I hope her one-woman show goes well.
Oh man, I hope there's badly green screened like roof scenes, and I hope she wears
People
sunglasses.
start throwing a football around.
Yeah, I hope she walks into a store and says "nice doggy" and other. I hope it's The Room. I really, and that's just not a knock on her. I just really think it would be funny if it was.
Hey, maybe she's good. I don't know what her first movie was that she directed. I didn't know that's the thing she did.
Nor did I. Clearly she liked doing it because she's doing it again. So
maybe she's got a good story to tell. It's really, really hard to hear the word quarantine and not want to roll my eyes. I think I actually did roll my eyes on video.
I think you did too. Yes. Yeah. Next up, Amy Adams, her company Bond Group Entertainment, and Jake Gyllenhaal's 9 Stories have won the rights. They've teamed up to win the rights in a competitive bidding to develop and produce Suzanne Simard's just published memoir, Finding the Mother Tree. Adams is going to star in it. She's going to star as Simard, a world-renowned scientist and ecologist who first discovered how trees communicate underground through an immense web of fungi. Simard's work has been praised as having a planetary significance and forever changing the way we look at trees. So they're all Groot, basically, is what we're realizing. It has inspired authors and filmmakers alike, from The Tree of Souls in James Cameron's Avatar to the main character in Richard Powers' novel Overstory.
Interesting.
And I hope Foxy's enjoying her drink, which we can all hear her having right at this moment.
Like, it's a new apartment. I don't have a lot of furniture or like things to block sound. And I share it. I share it with a cat, with a dog, and they get hungry and thirsty sometimes. What do you want? What do you want from me?
There seems to be no mention of Gyllenhaal starring in it as well. I think he's just a producer. But hey, maybe that was pretty good. I mean, I don't know. Like, will this story make a good film? Getting Amy Adams does make it feel like, oh, maybe it's going to, try and be like an Oscar-worthy thing or something like that. But we'll see.
Sure. Hey, mycelial networking is very cool. It's used in Star Trek because it's a real, like, scientific. What? It's like real. It's a real new interesting thing in science that people are exploring. What? I said the word Star Trek.
I'm just enjoying you saying something's good because it's been used in Star Trek. That's all.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Fungi is very cool.
Gonna let that joke sit there for a minute and let everyone absorb it. And now I'm going to tell you about the next story. Melvin Gregg from the United States versus Billie Holiday. Bradley Whitford from The Handmaid's Tale, although I would throw in Cabin in the Woods, perhaps, or Get Out as other things.
Definitely not King of the Monsters.
No, I wouldn't mention that one. Alice Braga and Danielle Campbell have all signed on to star in a film called Cher, an innovative sci-fi film from the Traveling Picture Show Company. So, this is scripted by Benjamin Suter. This is Ira Rosenwig's first film as director. I'll just try and say that name again. Ira Rosenwig, I think that's probably pronounced actually. Or maybe Weig. So it's got like a sort of Germany kind of ending to it, but
Rosenweig.
Yeah, so it's his debut feature, or her debut feature. I actually don't know. It's their debut feature.
I think Ira's a man's name.
I guess I don't know. I can see a woman named Ira.
I think it's traditionally male.
You're probably right. Yeah, I really don't know. But Rosenweig, their first film, it follows a man who awakens to find himself stripped of all of his possessions and trapped in a bare room. Aided by a primitive computer, he must learn to survive in his new isolated existence, where entertainment is the only currency. But here's where this gets a bit more interesting. There's an extra thing to add on to this. Well, the actors' roles have not been disclosed. We hear the indie... This is from Deadline, for the record. We hear the indie will be brought to life using unique and immersive filmmaking techniques. Given that each character in the story is cyclically isolated... Sorry, physically isolated, not cyclically isolated. Physically... We're all cyclically isolated. That's why it's impressive when someone's not cyclically isolated. So everyone's physically isolated. The shoot, which is currently ongoing, called for the construction of multiple identical sets with integrated camera systems, teleprompters, and live event technology. The system designed for the project allows the actors to fully interact both with each other and the computer interface central to the story in real time, while giving the director and the crew a precise pre-visualization of the finished product. So this says that they're doing some weird things here with how they're making it. Very intrigued. I think part of this is because of like just the pandemic and like shooting it safely so everyone can be kind of mostly spread out. But it does mention that the computer that's involved in the film is going to work in real time. You know, maybe not what it says it does, but it's going to interact with them in real time across the different locations, which is kind of an interesting thing to say. And also it makes me think, is this film going to mostly take place in a set of identical rooms or in one identical room and that's it?
I don't know.
But it's a sci-fi movie, so it means that we'll be looking at it.
It's intriguing. It sounds like, I mean, are they saying that they had to like invent technology in order to film this?
I mean, maybe inventing technology is a bit of a stretch, but certainly creating an infrastructure of things connected together, certainly.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I mean, the premise sounds fine, don't get me wrong. Someone on their own, a bottle movie, just them and a computer. I mean, that's vaguely interesting. We've definitely seen it been done before, but I'm definitely into those types of stories, but it's kind of all this extra stuff about, oh, it had to be filmed this weird way and all these, like, it's like, oh, that's kind of interesting. Like, I'm kind of curious to see what the end product is.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
We shall watch it.
We shall watch it for the yes, quite right. Next up, Netflix is remaking a Mexican film, a Mexican comedy called Nosotros los Nobles, which I probably butchered, but it's We Are the Nobles is the English translation. And they're doing an English language feature version. The 2013 movie, it was about 3 spoiled and superficial children and their self-made wealthy father who feigns bankruptcy to cut them off and forces them to do the unthinkable. Get a job. So, Netflix are doing an English version.
Mm.
Does this sound like hilarity to you?
Maybe. We'll see. It's a Netflix movie, so probably not, but the premise sounds promising. Like, we love to see the spoiled, entitled people who are no good to anybody fail. Schadenfreude.
Could agree more. Could agree more. And I'm sure they'll learn some lessons along the way and be better people by the end of it.
Yeah, they'll donate 1% of their money to charity or something. Yeah.
Something to that effect. Next up, Screen Media has got the US rights to Millennium Media's. It's a lot of medias. Their suspense thriller Till Death, starring Transformers actress Megan Fox. I wasn't laughing at Megan Fox. I was just laughing at billing her as Transformers actress. Like, you know, I mean, I guess it's where most people will know her from, but still, it feels like a slap in the face. So it's getting a theatrical run this summer and an on-demand release. Till Death begins with Emma waking up handcuffed to her dead husband after a romantic evening in their secluded lake house. Trapped and isolated in the dead of winter, she must fight off the hired killers and escape her husband's twisted plan.
Wait, so it's her... She wakes up handcuffed to her dead husband, but it's his plan?
Yes. I feel like that's spoiling a twist where... Like, or something. Or maybe he wanted to die or something. I admit there's a little bit of a disconnect between two of those things. But... I mean, I'm getting, you know, a little bit of that... what was that movie called? The Stephen King one that Netflix did. Where she's handcuffed to the bed for, like, the weekend.
Yeah, it's like Jacob's Ladder or something.
It's not Ladder. It was with a G, I'm sure. Gerald's Game. Is that
Gerald's
it?
Game.
Gerald's Game, there you go. I said Geralt. Think about Witcher. Geralt's Game.
Also Netflix.
So get a little bit of that. But obviously this idea of her having to survive, I assume she like cuts her husband's like hand off at some point just so she can get around. But it sounds like a fine survival film. I mean, I have no idea if the director here, S.K. Dale, who made the award-winning horror short The Coatmaker, apparently. This is his debut, so I have absolutely no idea if this has got the quality to make it a fun B-movie or a fun thriller or anything like that. But it's actually a nice enough premise, a simple premise that I could see being fun.
I like Megan Fox. Oh, I'm on Team Megan Fox. I want her to do well. So if it's got good buzz, maybe I'll watch it.
I have no particularly strong opinions on Megan Fox.
I think Hollywood was wrong to her. That's all.
I think Hollywood was wrong to her. Don't get me wrong. I'm not like the way she was kind of like, kicked out of Hollywood for daring to have an opinion on Transformers or whatever. Well, I can't remember the exact details of the events, but it was something she was opinionated about Transformers 2 or some, and spoke out about, I don't know, Michael Bay or some shit. But yeah, apparently people tell me that if I go back and watch Jennifer's Body again, I'm going to be pleasantly surprised that it's a better movie. And given that I really like the director's other film that came later, that I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case, because The Invitation is wonderful.
I saw Jennifer's Body in theater and I really liked it when I saw it. It was very different from the marketing, because the marketing was just like Jennifer's Body as in like Megan Fox is hot. And that's what, like, come see this movie so you can see hot Megan Fox. But I thought the movie was actually pretty good.
Yeah, it was basically, hey, 13-year-old boys, you want to come see this?
Yeah.
That was the marketing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. So that's called Till Death, because she's handcuffed to her dead husband. You see what they did there with the title?
I get it.
It's a bit generic sounding, but it's not a bad title necessarily. It's just the sort of thing that's overused, because there's definitely been movies and shows called Till Death before. There's no way it's not hammed. Which
I hope it wasn't spoiled for us, but
yeah, the description.
With that description.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it is his plan, but it went wrong or something, or I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Like maybe they were always going to come to assassinate her, but he was supposed to not die. Maybe he dies by accident or something, and she's left in the shit with.
Maybe he just had like plans to take her to a nice secluded area and have a anniversary or whatever it is, honeymoon in the aspen in the snow. And maybe that was his plan.
Joe, I saw a great tweet from someone. It was a woman talking about when she was proposed to, and she said that her now husband like drove her out to this like nice place in the middle of nowhere, but it was so off the beaten path that she did have the passing thought in her head that, so this is either going to be a proposal or this is going to be him going to murder me. It's one of the two.
Or murder.
it's one of there's no in between. It's one of those two things.
Yep. Women have that thought a lot.
I would like to tell every woman on the planet I have no plans to murder any of you.
All right, noted. Just cross your name off the list.
For what it's worth, I don't plan to murder any of you. And I'm really thinking about, is there anyone that I've given the chance? I don't think so. I don't think so. There's a few men that I could off, but I don't think I could. I don't think there's any. Well, maybe one, but that's neither here nor there. So moving on, the last thing we have in the news, we got a trailer to look at. A new Paul Verhoeven film is coming. It's called Benedetta. It is a foreign language film.
It is French.
Yeah, and it is starring Virginia Efira. I'm probably butchering that. Charlotte Rampling, Daphne Patakia. Again, probably butchering that name. Lambert Wilson, Olivia Robertsdin. I'm probably butchering that too. It's been described as a thriller. It was originally titled Blessed Virgin, and it is inspired by true events. It is set in the late 15th century as plague ravages the land. Benedetta joins the convent in Pescia, Tuscany. Pescia, Tuscany. As a novice who has been capable from an early age of performing miracles. Her impact on life and the community is immediate and momentous. What's interesting about reading that description is that maybe there's a little bit of that in the trailer, but that's not what I got from the trailer. That was not what stood out to me when I watched this trailer. Tara, would you like to tell everyone at home what stands out when you watch the trailer for Benedetta?
Well, this movie is quite steamy from the trailer.
I will remind everyone again at this juncture after that sentence that this is a movie about a nun and other nuns in a convent.
This is a movie about a woman who is exploring her body with another woman.
And the trailer shows you a lot of that.
Yeah. Look, Paul Verhoeven is always known to have some gratuitous nudity, even in his dramas and very serious films. But it's always like right on the edge of like perv, right?
Yes.
Because his nudity always has a purpose. But this trailer just looks like porn to me. When you said the name Blessed Virgin, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's more of a porno title.
I feel like Verhoeven was browsing and he stumbled into the nun fetish part of the internet and went, "Oh, this is a whole thing. I could do a whole movie about sexy nuns."
Based on true events, though, right? Well, so he's got a card he can play here.
To be fair to it, though, it does actually look very stylishly directed, and it looks very serious. It looks like a proper like drama thriller.
It looks like it's much better acting than you would normally see on those websites.
It just so happens that there's a lot of nudity. There's straight up scissoring happening at one point in this trailer. It really brings a new a definition, a new meaning to the phrase "scissor sisters" when they're nuns.
Oh my god! I bet that phrase gets uttered a lot in the movie. Without in French.
Would you be game for some scissoring this evening, sister? But yes, I would, sister.
I meant, oh my god.
I'm just sticking with my sister pun here. Come on.
The
They refer to each other as sister. Come on, this is comedy gold.
Yeah, it's this trailer made me blush. Okay.
It just made me think that Paul Verhoeven's got a new taste. He's got a new fetish. That's all I could think. But yeah, it looks like a very erotic drama thriller, where the main character may also be performing miracles and seems to be looked at as a heretic by the time the movie. Because there's definitely scenes in this trailer where there's a crowd of people being horrified by her and disgusted by her and things like that. So it is based on a book that came out in the 80s, 1986. The book was called Immodest Acts: The Life of a Lesbian Nun. The Life of a Lesbian Nun in Renaissance Italy, which is a hell of a title.
Hot.
Hey, Rule 34. Is it 34? It's been so long since I've heard that meme. I think it's 34.
I don't know what that is.
Rule 34 dictates is that if they exist, then there'll be porn of it.
Oh, I see.
It doesn't matter what it is. If it exists, then there will be porn of it.
Oh boy.
Hey, it's Paul Verhoeven. If anyone's going to get us to talk about stuff like this, it's going to be Paul Verhoeven.
Oh. This is not RoboCop.
He's the classy version of this, though. The less classy version of this is someone like David Dakota. Think
not a name I know.
Think really into naked men version of Tommy Wiseau, and you've got an idea of what his movies are like.
Ooh, what was that name again? Let me write it down. Do some research.
But even less coherent plots than Tommy Wiseau. For as bad as The Room is, it actually flows better than what a David Dakota film typically does. Anyway, why do I know this, you might ask? Because I'm familiar with bad movies, okay? So here we are. Mm-hmm. Benedetta. If you want some you know what? Here's what you do. You tell your parents about this movie, you tell your brothers and sisters, you go as a family, you watch it as a family. You especially if you're in a religious family, you tell them, it's like, hey, it's a movie about a nun. Let's all go see the movie about a nun. Nice, wholesome family film. And just watch the insanity ensue. I think that's my advice for everyone.
I mean, it looks like the porno version of that movie Doubt. That somehow escaped and was taken seriously as an actual film.
Okay. I can see it. So if you're into nuns with big buns, Benedetta coming later this year.
Yikes.
Look, I just wanted something that rhymed with nuns that was erotic, and buns is the best thing I could come up with, okay?
Alright.
If you like nuns and you like my puns, then like, comment, subscribe, and ding the bell on this new show. Helps us out a lot if you do that.
Buns.
Hot buns and witty puns. I don't have an outro line for this show yet. I'm worried that I'm going to stumble into something here that's going to become the new news outro.
Don't let it be hot buns. Hot cross buns.
Fresh out the kitchen. All right, this has been the Mail Fuzz News. Thank you very much. Let us know what you think about this stuff. Stuff we've talked about in the comments, including the very steamy trailer. And when I say there's nudity, there is straight up nudity in the trailer. It's an R-rated trailer. It's a red band nudity-filled trailer. So be warned.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, watch it without your parents around when you have some alone time.
Make sure the audience is cranked so you can hear the moans. Especially if you're watching it at work. If you're back in the office, if quarantine's coming to an end, make sure you watch it in work.
Yeah, don't watch it on your work computer.
Audio blaring. Oh dear. Oh, we're being so juvenile. But it does look well made. For the record, it does look well made.
I mean, I haven't crossed it off the list yet. I'll probably see it.
I'm not against watching it. I mean,
I'm sure.
what's that mean? I'm not watching it for that reason. How dare you?
You're a fan of Verhoeven. We've gone through this on the Ace. Yeah, that's why.
That's why. Okay. Not this steaming girl on girl action. That's not what you're implying.
Okay. They both happen to be quite attractive ladies. Yes.
This is what I was hoping for when I went to see The Nun. I was sorely disappointed.
Oh boy. I bet there's still a kink out there for that Nun too.
Oh, there's some weirdo. You know, there's some weirdo.
Rule 34, right?
Rule 34. Exactly.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Yes, this has been MailFuzz News. You can support us by doing all the things I mentioned before. You can also go over to patreon.com/MailFuzzTV and support us for as little as $1 per month and keep all the content coming. But otherwise, that is us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. And we will see you next time.